Another day, another dollar, ladies and gentlemen. Washington Commanders have still not signed Terry McLaurin. And as we inch closer to the start of training camp in the beginning of July, today being the first, Adam Schefter gives troubling update on Terry McLaurin's contract. And I want to bring it to you guys' attention, being that we cover the Washington Commanders. Let's talk about it.
The way that we live is not for everybody.
Nah, that ain't it, y'all.
How do you think the rest of Jaden Daniels' career is going to go? If we're, 6, 7 games into Jaden Daniels' career and he's already milking injuries? Like,
stop saying my name, you dick riding bastard. I love the way she move it, shake it on me. When she cry for him, and Shawty is the winner. You can tell that Shawty love again now. She's confident.
YouTube, what's going on? It's Juan Gotti here. We have the Washington Commanders live stream. And in today's live stream, as you can tell by the title, we're going to be talking about Terry McLaurin as we enter the month of July, and he has still not been given a contract extension. And before we get into it, I want to ask you guys do me a favor. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel if you are new, and turn on post notifications so you get notified when I upload new videos like this to the channel. We're on the road to 11,000 subscribers. Also, check out 4th and 1. There's a link down below to that channel. As I dropped my first video on that channel. It's in the description. Dropped it yesterday. Now, let's get straight to it. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I was basically just chilling, researching some things, about to do some videos. And I came across this article of Adam Schefter on the Commanders Wire. I want to share it with you all. Basically saying that Adam Schefter gives a troubling update with Terry McLaurin's contract. And as you guys know, and this is how I've been this whole entire situation, I've been so confident that this contract is going to get done. I've been so, I have not worried about it. I mean, I've got comments after comments after comments. Juan, what do you think about this? Juan, Terry's still not signed. Juan, are you concerned? I even had somebody comment on the last video that I did yesterday and said, trade Terry McLaurin for Tyreek Hill. And I'm just like, that's straight blasphemy, you know? But let's read this article. I'm going to put it up here on the screen for you all, so you all can see exactly what it is that I'm talking about. Because me, your man Juan Gotti, and I probably should be wearing a Terry McLaurin jersey right now, but this was just the first jersey to grab out the closet. But me, your man Juan Gotti, still is not concerned. I don't know what says you out there. I don't know how you feel about the contract extension. I would prefer that you leave it down below in the comment section. That way, when we get to reading the comments, you all can be involved as well. But let me go ahead and show you all this article that was posted by the Commander Wire. And let's see exactly what Adam Schefter had to say in regards to contract extension. Again, reading every single comment, so this is your time to get your comments answered. If you have any type of comment that you want to get across or aired on the show, I would urge you all to comment down below. So here should be on the screen shortly as we're getting things loaded up here. Give me 1 second. It should be up on the screen now. Let's see. Okay, there it goes. You all can see it now, right? You all can see it. So here's what it says for Adam Schefter and the article on Terry McLaurin's contract update. So what it says is the Washington Commanders begin training camp in 3 weeks. Star wide receiver Terry McLaurin has yet to receive a contract extension. McLaurin is entering the final year of his 3-year extension that he signed in 2022, worth $71 million. McLaurin is due to account $25.5 million against Washington's 2025 salary cap. ESPN's Adam Schefter appeared as a guest on the Pat McAfee show on Monday and offered a not so promising update on talks between the Commanders and McLaurin. So, do you guys see it, or did it go out? It must have went out or something like that. Okay. If you guys don't know, I should update you all, but my computer broke, so now I'm kind of trapping off the iPad right now, and I have like this bootleg laptop that I was trying to share the screen with, but apparently it isn't working. But I'll continue to read here and there. It says ESPN's Adam Schefter appears as a guest on Pat McAfee's show on Monday and offered a not so promising update on talks between Commanders and McLaurin. Here's what Adam Schefter quoted: "There's no update, which is the update. And that's the problem," Schefter said. "The problem is that with this particular situation, I think Terry McLaurin is going to argue that we've seen other wide receivers who his numbers are comparable to, like Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and DK Metcalf, get paid over $30 million per season this offseason. And I think the Commanders can then say, yes, but Mike Evans, who also had their comparable numbers, is at 24 million. So they're really in a quite difference and a gap between what both sides would want. They have not made any progress. I would think that we'll see if there is any team that decides to come snooping around Terry McLaurin to see if they can probably pry loose Terry McLaurin, who, by the way, I cannot envision the Commanders moving on from, no matter how disgruntled he may be. So let me first start right there. Terry McLaurin is not getting traded. I really don't know where this whole notion has started. Well, clearly it started from talks from inside reporters reporting that if a contract doesn't get done, he could probably ask for a trade, given the fact that he still is under contract for this final year. But he's not getting traded. You don't go out and you don't sign a Debo Samuel to trade Terry McLaurin. You go out and you sign or trade for a Debo Samuel to pair with Terry McLaurin. So that being said, to me, this is not that is not even gonna fly. I've seen people ask me, "Hey Juan, what do you think about TJ Watt for Terry McLaurin? Trade Terry McLaurin for Tyreek Hill?" And I'm just like, bro, he's not being traded. He's one of the faces of the franchises. He's been the face of the franchise before Jaden Daniels came along. He held us down. He got paid. He's everything that you embody and that you envision of a commander. So he's not being traded. And the thing that kind of kills me with fans is Terry McLaurin the best receiver in the NFL? No, not at all. Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chases of those words. Is he on that level? No, not at all. But what kills me about some of the fans and the fan base is some of these people will sit up here and tell you to your face, trade Terry McLaurin, he doesn't want to be a part of the team, or whatever, or he's asking for too much money, he's not all of that. But then you have the section of the fan base that is head over heels about Terry McLaurin that also says you need to pay him whatever he wants. And that is where the confusion and I think the division comes into play for how to feel about certain players, because I think some people don't value Terry McLaurin as much as he should. And I think there is some in the case in which there are some people that probably overvalues, if that's even possible, Terry McLaurin to this team. Which, in my opinion, I don't even know if that's possible, that you can overvalue a guy that's been so consistent and so important to your franchise. That being said, Terry McLaurin is not Jamar Chase. He's not Justin Jefferson. So he shouldn't get the money, in my opinion at least, of those two guys' calibers for multiple reasons. Terry McLaurin hasn't had a season that neither one of these guys both put up on consistent basis. These guys are both in the prime of their career, or not even in their prime, probably not even close to their prime. They're 24, they're 25, 26 years old. So these guys are 4 or 5 years younger than Terry McLaurin and still have a lot more upside to reach. So that is also plays a factor into it. I think you simply start the conversation in terms of money with CeeDee Lamb. And even CeeDee Lamb, and some people ask, can be a stretch because CeeDee Lamb is still quite young, but CeeDee Lamb, I think, is where you can accept the conversation to start. Prior to all this stuff coming out about Terry McLaurin, which in my opinion, I'm not gonna say is false, but I think since it's not nothing to talk about, this is the thing to talk about, right? Like had it been more news coming out, they wouldn't be talking about Terry McLaurin. But since it's no news, this is probably the biggest story coming out of Washington. They want to drag this along because deep down inside, bro, I think they're gonna figure it out. Now, could there be some truth to this? Could they be far apart and have two different kind of outputs on it? Yeah, could be so. And your man Juan Gotti, me, I'm not stressing until we get to training camp. He's not there. The closer we get to training camp, the more I probably start to stress. But it's July 1st, start of the new month. I think for me, we get to July 15th, because that's where I think he'll be getting paid around that time frame. But we get to July 15th, you know what I mean? I might start to be a little bit worried. And that's just being truthful. But back to what I was saying about how much money is. I gave Terry McLaurin, I said 30, 32.5, 33.5 to put him over DK Metcalf. That's where I said I would start the conversation, but there have been talks that Terry McLaurin believes that he should be getting paid the same amount as Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase. And I love Terry McLaurin. I do. But there's no way that you can sit up here and say he's on the same level as a Justin Jefferson and a Jamar Chase. Is Terry McLaurin top 10? If he's not top 10, he's just shy of the top 10. Me personally, a lot of people try to put Nico Collins and Amon-Ra St. Brown over him. And just my personal opinion, take fandom out of it and take stats away from the game. I think player for player, I would much rather have Terry McLaurin on my squad than Nico Collins and Amon-Ra. That is not to say that they're bad players. That is not to say if you have them in your top 10 over Terry McLaurin, I can't see that. But it's just to say my personal take on it is I would rather have Terry McLaurin. So worst case scenario, Terry McLaurin's probably 13 around that range. And if you look at the money, let's just go ahead and see here, just so I can kind of get a quick refresh of the money here. Highest paid wide receivers. I know it's Jettas, it's Jamal Jettas, CeeDee Lamb, those guys of that nature. But let's just kind of look at it and see where Terry McLaurin could potentially rank, because I personally think Terry McLaurin deserves to get paid for sure and will get paid. But the average salary is where I think the disconnect can be in the years. Jamar Chase making $40 million a year, and he's 25. Justin Jefferson is making 35 million a year. CeeDee Lamb's making 34 a year at 26, both 26. DK Metcalf is making 32 a year at 28. So I felt like I was giving Terry McLaurin a lot of leverage by saying you can start the conversation at DK Metcalf, because 34 for Terry is good. And don't get me wrong, if they was to cough up 40 mil a year for Terry McLaurin for 4 years, 3 years, I wouldn't be mad. But how I value this, given the fact that his age and given the fact that he hasn't had a season of those two guys' caliber, you probably would have to kind of 32.5 wouldn't be bad. That makes you the one, two, three. That makes you the fourth highest paid receiver in the league, or 33.5, I should say. 33.5. That makes you the fourth highest paid in a receiver in the league behind Justin Jefferson and putting you in front of DK Metcalf. But it's all about what is exactly that he wants. What is this far apart? Like, what is this that they're talking about? We got to figure this out if it does have some type of validity to it. Because this far apart thing that they keep trying to say is it's so what's the word? Like, it's so vague is the right term I'm looking for, because it leaves room for speculation, like myself. When you say far apart, are you talking about the years? Are you talking about the money? Are you talking about the fact that Terry McLaurin probably wants to sign a 2 year deal so he can double dip again in 2 years? But you're like, no, we want to sign you to a 3 or 4 year contract. That way you can finish out your career here. Because who's to say on Terry McLaurin's behalf, signing a 2 year deal probably would be super smart, because he's like, I'm about to turn 30 in September. If I'm playing at a high level for the next 2 years or 3 years, that would be because you got one more year left of this season. So 2 more years after this year. If I'm 32, 33 years old, still playing at a high level, that sets me up in a position to where I can get paid again one final time. So Terry McLaurin could be looking at a big cash day now, and in 2 years he could be looking at another one, whether it's with Washington or not. So that's the smart of Terry McLaurin's leverage. But the team's leverage, if they really have any, because I don't necessarily know if the team truly has leverage, because again, we need Terry McLaurin. So at the end of the day, we can speculate about what the language should or should not say. We need him come September. What is it, 7th versus the Giants? We need him. So at some point, I think Washington is going to bite, regardless of if there is a true divide in whether or not we should pay Terry McLaurin the money that he wants. Because the more I talk about it, the more I start to see, yes, like Terry McLaurin has the Commanders by the balls. Because if you don't pay Terry McLaurin, he holds out. Now it's a Cincinnati Bengals situation. Now you lose your best offensive weapon, your quarterback's best offensive weapon. The reason you traded for Deebo Samuel was to pair him up with Terry McLaurin, not for him to be out there and try to be your wide receiver one, which we know he most likely cannot do. That's why he's not in San Francisco anymore, because he was never looked at to be a true number one. So we can sit up here, argue, go back and forth, regardless of what we should pay Terry McLaurin, how much he's worth, if he should get this many years, if he should get this signing bonus, if he should get this AAV. At the end of the day, come September time, bro, he has to be out there. And if he's not out there, we are going to be in trouble. I am still hopeful that this gets taken care of. I'm still confident that this gets taken care of. There's not a part of me that feels like Terry McLaurin will be in a different uniform. But I will say, if we get to July 15th, half of the month, and he's still not paid, then that's when the concern for me probably starts to rise, truthfully. But we're now roughly 19 minutes and 30 seconds into the live stream. I ask you guys, do me a favor, hit that like button and comment something nice down below, or comment something bad down below, regardless of how you feel. Comment down below so you can have your comment read live on air, as I'll be scrolling the comment section here shortly. As we also have to talk about how RFK had somewhat of a minor update a little bit later in the show. But Terry McLaurin, in my opinion, although he is 30 years old in September. 30 isn't old, by the way. He's finally got a quarterback that believes in him, that he can grow with and that he can perform with, which has hindered him for the first 5 years of his career. So, trajectory wise, I do think Terry McLaurin has another level he can reach. How high that is, it's remained to be seen. But I do think he has another level he can reach for sure. Terry McLaurin, in my opinion, should have had what? How much did he finish with last year? Like 1,100 yards? I think it's like 1196 or something like that. Let me look it up exactly what his stats he finished with. But I just know countless times, or he finished with 1,096. You cannot tell me Terry McLaurin shouldn't have finished the season last year with at least 1,100, 1,200. That being said, Terry McLaurin leverage for him is like, look at the touchdowns that I had last year. I set the single season record for most touchdowns in a year. I averaged 13.4 yards per reception, which is like the third, fourth highest in my career in a season. I've had the most receptions in stands for 2020, which on paper it looks like 2020 and 2022 were his best 2 years, where he reached both 1,100 yards. I gotta watch Terry McLaurin 2022 film over again. How good was he in 2022? Which I know how good he was, but looking back at his stats, bro, 1,191 yards and averaging 15.5 yards per reception, bro. He was a dog in 22. That's because Taylor Heineke was the quarterback. Right? Taylor Heineke said, man, F it. Terry McLaurin's down there somewhere. But I don't know if I'm buying this Adam Schefter post. Part of me is being biased because I am a Commanders fan, so I want to be as positive as I can be. But also, part of me feels like it's just the summer blues. And I know a lot of people be like, Juan, so why didn't he get it done yet? Why didn't he get it done yet? It very well could be some language issues in the contract that they have not got on the same page with, but still far apart for me. Feels a little stretched out. I don't know about you all. That feels a little stretched out. And it's meant to be that way because we're on the outside looking in. It's meant to be vague. You know what I mean? So let me go back to this article, and I wish I could really share, but clearly my internet won't survive because I'm trapping off the laptop right now for the internet, but iPad for the cam. Um, what he said in this article, that being Adam Schefter, was uh says Schefter then compared McLaurin's situation to in Washington to T.J. Watt's situation in Pittsburgh. Watt is also entering the final year of his contract and is due a raise, but like McLaurin, the team could be using their respective ages against them. McLaurin will turn 30 in September, and Watt will turn 31 in October. McLaurin is coming off of a season in which he caught a career high 13 touchdown passes and added three more in the playoffs. His previous career high was 7 touchdowns set in 2019's rookie year. We've maintained all along that we don't believe McLaurin is going anywhere, and the Commanders will do right by him as we approach camp. But both sides become increasingly desperate to finalize a deal, which could lead to a new agreement. So, is Terry McLaurin? Let's see what he say. They say you can compare Terry McLaurin's numbers to Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and DK Metcalf. Over 30 mil per year this offseason. Or you can also compare his stats to Mike Evans, who's making $24 million this year. So Terry McLaurin again is kind of in that. That's why I say he has all the leverage, because everything that Washington I think is going to kind of try to counter, Terry McLaurin has an answer for. Whether it's the age thing, he can easily say, well, yeah, I'm 30, but I got drafted at 24, 25, 24, 25, so I don't have a lot of tread on my tires. They can try to say he's old, okay, but look at what a guy like Mike Evans is doing. They can try to say, well, you don't have the production of Jamar Chase or Justin Jefferson. Okay. I'm just hitting my stride with my quarterback. After 7 years, or 6 years, I finally got the quarterback that I've been needing all along. And you see how successful he was last year. So the more I read up on it, the more I talk about it, the more it just pops into my head. Like Terry McLaurin truly may have all the leverage for him, which could lead to him holding out. But I don't see that happening. But if it does, Washington might as well just pay him whatever he wants, because we need him more than he needs us. I'm sure there are teams out there that would love to trade for a Terry McLaurin. But we can't survive. I'm not gonna say no, hell no. We cannot survive. I was about to sit up here and lie and say, I'm not about to say that, but no, it is true. We cannot survive without Terry McLaurin. I already have questions about this wide receiving core as a whole anyway. Outside of Debo Samuel and Terry and Noah Brown, I have questions. I know we have some rookies and some young guys that has potential, but right now, who do we have on this roster outside of Terry McLaurin, Noah Brown, Debo Samuel, and potentially Michael Gallup, but we'll see, that has proven it at this level on a consistent basis? We can't afford to lose Terry McLaurin. So if you're new here and you want more content like this, subscribe to the channel. Also, comment something down below. Very nice. I'm going to be shortly reading all the comments, and if you want to have your time and your question answered live on air, this is the time to do so and to get your question answered. Take over the show here in a second. Last thing I'll say before we get to the comment section is Terry McLaurin will be a Commander. I don't see him going anywhere. I don't. If we get to July 15th, halfway through the month of July, and still no update on Terry McLaurin, okay, you got me. Then I'll start to sweat. Then I'll start to get nervous and say, what's going on? Why isn't so-and-so signed yet? But until then, till that happens, I'm as cool as a cucumber, baby, because Terry McLaurin will be a Washington Commander. There's 42 of y'all in here. Make sure you guys comment. You have your comment read live on air here and very shortly. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to the channel as well. One road to 11,000 subscribers. So let's go ahead and start all the way at the top of the comment section and see who the first comment down. We're going to work our way all the way down till we get to the end. Tyus B11. Shout out to my guy Tyus. Says not yet. Replying to a comment. Shout out to my guy Tyus. Doug Obby. He says, LOL. So last year, Terry McLaurin was super productive despite having crap QBs. And that is true. And that's why I say he can kind of use that as some type of leverage to get more money out of the team. Yes, I'm 30 plus years old here starting in September, but you're just giving me the quarterback that I needed all along, and you've seen the kind of damage that we did. Imagine what we can do, what we'll do in the future. William Clark says he's not that guy. He is okay. Terry McLaurin, for me, is indeed that guy. What is your definition of that guy? If is the definition of that guy just the best receiver in the league, if that's the case, then I don't think Terry McLaurin is the best receiver in the league. But he is, in fact, that guy. There hasn't been many guys outside of DJ Moore that I could think of off the top of my head that has had dealt with anything similar, and Mike Evans, anything similar to what Terry McLaurin has gone through. If Terry McLaurin isn't top 10 for you, I can't argue with it. I think he probably at worst is 13. But he is indeed that guy. YT Rennie laughing. He says, you're joking. He is trolling. He had to be trolling, man. Had to be trolling. YT Rennie says, I mean, I'd rather pay him now before we have to pay Jaden, but who knows? And exactly, that's why I think Washington is trying to maybe get a 3-year deal. That way his contract can be expiring, because technically it would be a 4-year deal, which this is Jaden Daniels' second year, which he'll have 4 more years left because of the 5th year option. So technically it's a 3-year deal, but 4 years because Terry Gonzalez has 1 year left on his deal. So they're trying to get a 3-year contract done, so that way he'll be able to get out of his contract around the same time that you possibly be paying Jaden Daniels. So I think that's what Washington is looking at it as. Michael, my guy Michael P says pay him 34 mil for 3 years. I don't disagree with that. That's where CeeDee Lamb is at. And you can come and that you can start the conversation really there. And that is, in my opinion, considered the high end for Terry McLaurin. The high end for Terry McLaurin is 34. Because realistically, I think 33.5 gets it done. Someone even had, I think, an Instagram page had it at 31.5. So 34, I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it. William Clark says you will give up 40 mil a year for him, but go after Trey. You'll give up 40 mil a year for him, but go after Trey. Are you talking about Trey Hendrickson? That's my bold prediction. I think at the trade deadline, if he's still holding out by that time and the Bengals haven't paid him his money, I think Washington will make a trade for him at the deadline. I truly do. Says the negotiation can go deep into the preseason. I think he waits to see if Lane looks like the new number 1 draft pick and not a third rounder. Nah, I don't think it goes that deep into the preseason. If it goes that deep into the preseason, that is very, very bad. And that means he probably won't be playing in the regular season anytime soon. But he's not negotiating a contract or signing a contract because he's waiting to see if Jalen Lane's gonna turn out to be the receiver 1. No. I don't necessarily agree with that one, not gonna lie. It says William Clark, Adam Schefter is just like TMZ, buddy. If he says it, believes it. Nah, I know Adam Schefter is a credible source. I'm an Ian Rappaport guy. I'm not gonna lie to you. I just followed Adam Schefter on social media just today, just cause I was just like, why not? The more the merrier. But I've been an Ian Rappaport guy since I started watching football. I don't know. It's just something about NFL Network guys. I'm a Tom Pelissero guy. I'm a Andrew Siciliano, a Phil Yates. Phil Yates for like statistics, but I don't know. I'm an Ian Rappaport guy. So, and this isn't to say anything is wrong with Adam Schefter or not, but I think it's just it's a slow part of the offseason. And maybe I haven't paid attention to Ian Rappaport at all, but I haven't seen Ian Rappaport really report on Terry McLaurin. That's truly why he's my guy. Because he really breaks the news when the news needs to be broken. You know? My guy Sankra. Hopefully I said that right. If I didn't, I apologize. But yeah, they're hyping the situation because they ain't got to talk about to entertain them at the moment. Yes, exactly. If I pronounce your name wrong, you can correct me in the comment section and I'll get it right. I promise you. But yeah, I agree with you, man. I agree with you. Guys, 47 of you all in here. Please hit that like button and also comment down below. Reading every single comment. If anything you have to talk about the team, NFL, sports. I mean, it's a lot of stuff going on with Jalen Ramsey being traded and John Smith being traded. Darren Waller coming out of retirement. It's crazy because Darren Waller is randomly coming out of retirement, man. He never wanted to play for the Giants. That's what it truly is. That's what it feels like, right? You come out of retirement to go to the Dolphins. Got NBA news. Got Dame getting waived by the Bucks. Miles Turner going to the Bucks. It's a lot. It's a lot you can really talk about. If you want to feel free to get your comment up here on the screen. Um, Love them skins. 1982. Shout out to my guy. Love them skins. So how many touchdowns did Jefferson have last year? We can do that for quick research here. But I do tend to agree with a lot of people, and this isn't me. This isn't me downplaying what Terry McLaurin did at all. Don't get me wrong. Touchdowns are a killer, and this may sound hypocritical because I do use this to defend them. But in the grand scheme of things, I'm more of a yards per catch guy. Actually, that's what I think about it. That's the kind of guy, that's the kind of fan that I am. More than touchdowns, more than total yards through a season. What does your average look like? What does your yards per catch look like? That's why I had to ask y'all again, because I mean, even though I'm young, bro, my brain, I don't remember a lot of stuff. I don't. And I know he was fired 2022, but he averaged 15.5 yards per reception in 2022. And he had his second most receiving yards that year. So Justin Jefferson had 10 touchdowns last year. Uh, I think Terry was just behind Jamar Chase, or did he have more than Jamar Chase? I know. Let me think. I think he was just behind him. Yeah. So Jamar Chase had 17 last year. Terry had 13. So he was just behind Jamar Chase. But let's be honest though, guys. Like, let's just be honest. Call it what it is. And if you genuinely think like this, if you feel like this, sure, put it down below. And I can't necessarily disagree. But does the touchdown production alone put him in the conversation with Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase? Me personally, I don't think so. And it's not to discredit touchdowns, because if you can get in the box, that's the ultimate goal, of course. But 1,700 for Jamar Chase last year, bro. Triple crown winner. 1,200, 1,000, 1,400. Like that's some serious ish. In 2022, he only had 1,000 yards that year. And I want to go out on a limb and say that he missed a couple games because he was hurt. But let me check the actual statistics to that to see. I really wish I could share my screen, man, but I know it's gonna lag, y'all. So you kind of just gotta bear with my voice. So yeah, in 22 he played in only 12 games. Um, but we also can do this as well. We can do this too in a second. We'll do Terry McLaurin versus the world in terms of wide receiver one. So we're going to compare Terry McLaurin to wide receiver one, every wide receiver one, and we'll get your opinions down below. So please stay tuned for that as well. Um, my guy ST, I'm gonna just call you ST because I feel like I'm butchering your name. QB on a rookie deal. Yep, QB is on a rookie deal. So you do want to strike while the iron's hot. This is the perfect time. This is why Jaden Daniels being so successful so early on last year was so good for Washington. Not even just for the on-field production that he had last year, but it allowed Washington to have their quarterback situation answered early, and now they can go all in and have really 3 years before they have to negotiate a contract, and they have 3 years to truly win a Super Bowl before they have to even think about paying Jaden Daniels a contract extension. Yeah, I definitely think they'll work something out. I'm definitely cool as a cucumber until July 15th. That's the deadline. That's when I'll probably start to get a little bit worried. But I think they'll pay him by that time. That's why I'm pretty confident in it. Jada McDowell. Hopefully I said that right. Says no way we're gonna trade him. He's not getting traded. That's why anybody that comment that on the videos, I just be like, man, that's so blasphemy, bro. That is so bad of a take. Trade Terry McLaurin for Tyreek Hill. Trade Terry McLaurin. We don't need him. He wants too much money. Do you understand that we need him, bro? Like, that's why I think Terry McLaurin has all the leverage here, because it's like we need him. He knows we need him. Adam Peters knows we need him. You didn't trade for Debo Samuel to have him be the assumed number one wide receiver. You traded for Debo Samuel to finally give Terry McLaurin some type of help. You don't want to lose your best weapon for your quarterback. You know my worst fear? I'm not gonna lie, it just crossed my mind. It just crossed my mind too. And I really hope people don't get like this, but I can already just unfortunately see it. Terry McLaurin has a stretch of games where he is, let's say, non-existent. Whether it's his fault, it's the um whether it's his fault or it's the coach's play call or Jaden's not seeing or whatever. My worst fear is for people to turn on Terry McLaurin after he gets paid. Because let's be real, Terry McLaurin getting paid puts him in a whole new realm. The expectation is now higher. So boy, and he did this obviously holding out and all this. He cannot have a bad game next year. And I feel so bad for him. I really do. But I hope our fans aren't like that. But something tells me that's how it's gonna be. Uh Sankra 226 Thomas says, we simply gonna pay for what he did on the cheap rookie salary, LOL. Yep. Uh my guy ST, Sankra 226 Thomas. Hopefully I said that right again. He says, how did you become a Skins fan? Oh man, my origin story, man. It's very simple. Whole family's from Washington, D.C. I was born in Washington, D.C., raised in Prince George's County, Maryland. And all I know is Washington. So that's pretty much how I became a Washington fan. And for every other sport, pretty much the same way. For the Wizards, I don't know. Can I bandwagon the Wizards? I don't know. I don't really care for basketball like that anymore. So I don't really like care for the Wizards. I'm not gonna lie. If they do get good, I'll probably end up bandwagoning them. But I lost the love for the NBA. I'm not gonna lie to you. So the Wizards, anybody ask me who my team is, I say Lakers or like or really I don't know. I always say Lakers, but I don't even follow them like how I used to. So I'm a free agent when it comes to basketball. But just know if the Wizards get good, I'm gonna bandwagon them. So let's go. Let's go, my guy my guy Trey Johnson and what's his name? But not Bilal Calloway. I don't know how you say his name. Alex Starr and all those guys. Let's go, fellas, so I can come on and bandwagon. Because when John Wall, Martin Gortat, and Nate, Bradley Bill, I was definitely bandwagoning like crazy. I ain't gonna lie. But Nationals, big time Nats fan. Love James Wood, the young core that we're building there in Nats Park. Hopefully the learners can finally invest. That's my sport right there, though, y'all. If you didn't know, football, baseball are my two sports that I love the most. But yeah, man, I have a very simple origin story, bro. Whole family from Washington D.C., born in D.C., raised in Maryland, and these are our surrounding teams. So not that hard, or not saying not that hard, but not that like satisfying. I don't have this like super interesting story, unfortunately. Alex says, please get this deal done, AP and number 17. We need each other. And we'll get it done. And that's why I'm as cool as a cucumber. I'm not panicking. Haven't panicked this whole time. Won't panic until probably July 15th. We get to July 15th, then that's maybe when I'll start to be like, uh-oh, I don't know what's going on. But until then, I'm still chilling. LC says, pay that man. Pay that MFer. Debo cannot replace him. And all that he can do, Jaden needs him for the title, for sure. And that's why I say that. Like, you did not trade for Debo Samuel for him to be your number one receiver. You traded for Debo Samuel to pair him up with Terry McLaurin. Simple as that. Simple as that. And yes, for sure, Jaden Daniels needs Terry McLaurin. Um, William Clark says, "What one? Are you serious? The game must go on, my dude." Indeed, it does. The game definitely does go on with or without Terry McLaurin, but that doesn't change the fact that we need him. That doesn't change the fact that it severely hurts our team. Of course, the team doesn't start. Business doesn't stop. Right? If Terry McLaurin does not sign a deal and he holds out all of training camp and preseason and regular season until he gets a deal, if he does get one, show is going to go on a road. It's still going to continue, of course, but it severely hurts our team because we need him. we're putting our team at a disadvantage without him. So we need him. Mickey Link says, I'm not with Trey and Terry McLaurin unless it's like for Marvin Harrison Jr., guessing he'll have a career similar to Marvin Harrison. I don't know who thinks the Cardinals would do that though. Yeah, they wouldn't trade that. They wouldn't trade him. You know, they wouldn't trade Marvin Harrison. And quite frankly, I don't think I'm not gonna say there's no team interested in Terry McLaurin. I'm not gonna say that, but I think I'm just not interested. We're not as a team should be interested in trade for because who do you? It would have to be a receiver for a receiver. It would have to be because that's the thing about with T.J. Watt. They kept saying, "Oh, trade for T.J. Watt, trade him, use him for T.J. Watt." Um, you know what I mean? But it's like, okay, you trade him for T.J. Watt. What strengths are you gaining? You're getting a damn good pass rusher, but you're hurting your offense. So at what cost? So if we was to trade, which I don't even think it's gonna happen, so I don't even know why I'm having this conversation. But for the sake of the comment, it would have to be for someone like Marvin Harrison. But Marvin Harrison's in his second year. They wouldn't even do that. You know what I mean? So he's not getting traded. But yeah. William Clark says he's still under contract, so he has to report or he'll get fined. Yeah, he's been getting fined this whole time, but that's some change to him. The reward of getting a new deal, a new contract, is nothing to getting paid fined hundreds of thousands of dollars for missing mandatory minis. Now, I think there was a case a couple years ago. I don't know exactly who it was. But I know they were holding out a training camp or whatnot, but they eventually showed up, and I think someone made the comment was like, "Yeah, them fines started to add up." So maybe we get to a point of training camp if he isn't paid by that time, that the fines will start to add up to where he has to report. But if he's financially well off, which I have a hard time believing he's not, he could very well hold out until the regular season if this doesn't get done. But again, I think it will. I sure hope Jaden remembers to wear a cup when he plays. It would be I can't even say that word because I know I think I know what you did. I Doug, were you the one a couple of streams ago, like months ago, that just kept making references to cups? That's why I can't say catastrophe. I can, bro, that's blowing me because I know that word. Catastrophe. Anyways, catastrophe if he gets nailed in the balls without a cup and has to miss several weeks. Well, I don't know anything about Jaden Daniels and his manly area pause, which I don't even want to talk about, but I don't know if he wears a cup or anything like that. Let's just say I agree with you though, Doug. I hope for the sake of his health that he wears a cup. But do I care if he wears a cup or not? That has nothing to do with me. But I'm just gonna assume he does. I'm pretty sure he's a smart guy, and he knows the cons of not wearing a cup. That being said, though, I didn't wear a cup when I played baseball, so who am I to talk and judge people if they don't wear cups? If you don't wear cups, you don't wear cups. But I didn't wear cups when I played baseball, so granted, I was first base and outfield, so I didn't necessarily feel the need to wear a cup. If I played catcher, probably so. But, anyways, William Clark says he can't go to the Vikings and be the number one guy. Okay. I don't think anybody outside of Jamar Chase could go to the Vikings and be a number one. They have Justin Jefferson. What you mean? He can go to most teams and be the number one. I agree. I agree. I'm sure there. It's more than half the league Terry McLaurin could go to and be the number one on. But Minnesota, in my opinion, isn't one of them. Coach Lombard. Coach Lombard says, what school is that, Coach? What you didn't realize? Yeah. I don't know what school is that. Shout out to Coach. Says, does anyone know what AP offers was? No, we don't know anything. That's why it leaves the room for speculation because we don't know what they're offering. It could really range from, in my opinion, all the way down to, I would say, because Amar Ra's making 30 a year, and that's the lowest I think that it could start. But realistically, I think it starts with AJ Brown at 32. 32 mil for AJ Brown, but he's gonna be getting another contract too, though, bro, because he's only 28. 32 for AJ Brown, I think is kind of crazy. But you can start the conversation with 32, and apparently, since they say Terry wants the same amount of money as Jamar Chase, it can go all the way from 32 to 40, but I don't think AP's offering him 40 because if that's the case, he would have probably been signed, bro. If I had to take a guess of what the holdup truly is, I think it's the years, y'all. I think it's the years more so than the money. I think the money is figured out. If I had to take a guess, the money is figured out. Because I don't think they have a true issue of giving Terry McLaurin however much money he wants. I think it's the duration of the contract. You know what I mean? Rip to RFK. Yeah, we'll get to that in a second because I don't know how to necessarily feel about what I saw. I really don't. Um Speaking of that, it says the mid told me that on a concern scale of 0 to 5, 0 equals not concerned, 5 equals very concerned. She's at a 4 when it comes to the city's RFK deal with the Commanders. Where are you? So that I have to do the research on what why that is, what's all the hold up, but I'll make a video on it. But if you're at a 4 of concern, that could be something to keep an eye on. But it's just like it's hard for me to believe that they would do all of this in terms of a rollout for a press conference to announce it and all this, do all this extra stuff and make it this big of a deal, make it this official, if it wasn't going to happen. You know what I mean? Because if that was the case, then what was the point of all this, all the stuff that they did? William Clark, Adam made an NFL Network. He worked there first. I see. I didn't know that. That was probably before my time. And you want to know what's crazy? I miss football so much, and this happens every year around this time. I got NFL Fox Sunday 1990s like pregame show recommended to me on YouTube. And originally the cast was Jim Brown. It wasn't Kurt Menefee. For all my lifetime, that's all I do, Kurt Menefee. And I knew Jim Brown for CBS. I didn't know Jim Brown was on Fox originally with Howie Long, and Terry Bradshaw, and obviously Michael Strahan wasn't around yet. It was, guess who it was? Let me see if all the OGs in the chat could name the last person for me. Who was the last person a part of the original cast of Fox NFL Sunday? So it was Terry Bradshaw, it was Howie Long, it was Jim Brown, James Brown. Did I say Jim Brown? I'm gonna say James Brown if I said Jim Brown. James Brown, and who was the last person? Which I was like, ain't no way. I did not know he started there. Let's see if y'all can get it. And we'll get back to the comment section. Let's see. Let's see who's the first comment to get it right. So the original Fox on Sunday, uh, Fox Fox Football on Sunday cast, Fox NFL Sunday cast. Who was the last person that was a part of that cast? Let's see. Yep, there you go, Doug. Doug got it. Chris Collinsworth was a part of that cast, y'all. I did not know that. Right? Like Chris Collinsworth. Here's a guy that I know him from NBC. You know what I mean? Play call, play by play with my guy that was that's on Thursday nights now. Cause uh, not Jim Nance. Jim Nance, Tony Romo. That's CBS. Who's my Al Davis? That's who I remember from Sunday night. Chris Collinsworth for Al Davis, but now it's Mike Tirico, who Mike Tirico used to be an in studio broadcast person. Now he's the play by play alongside Chris Collinsworth. But anyways, back on track now here to the comments section. Um, you good? Okay, Sankra. What was I saying then? I felt like I was saying something close to that if I wasn't saying it, but I got you, Sankra, bet. Hot Fever, what's good? Hot Fever, how you? Hassan, Hassan Stephanie, just wanted to say shout out to you, Juan. Shout out to you, Hassan. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. Shout out to you. Darren Waller unretired? Yeah, man. He just didn't want to play for the Giants, bro. That's all it is. He just didn't want to play for the Giants, bro. C Rob for President TV. You say Terry will come out of this the highest paid commander and will walk into the season with a swing, with the swag, the end. Period. Let's go. Let's go, Slim. Let's do it. I'm ready. I'm ready, man. I'm ready. William Clark says our Wizards don't act like it's free agency don't act like it's free agent season right now. See, well, I ain't even gonna blame the Wizards for why I don't really watch basketball anymore. I don't know. I used to love basketball, man. I don't know what happened to my fandom for it, but I think it's the mix of the lack of access and just not really having an emotional connection to a team, I guess. Hot Fever, Terry had 13 regular season touchdowns. Yeah. I love them skins. Says you cannot compare Terry to those guys because look who's been throwing them the ball and look who Terry has as a quarterback and team. Then think Terry is the class if we look at everything that matters. So I do feel like situations play a big factor in the success of a receiver. That's my main argument when it comes to people that don't put Terry McLaurin in their top 10. That being said, talent for talent, I think we would have known if Terry McLaurin was Justin Jefferson or Jamar Chase by now. I'm just saying. That's just me being honest and being as unbiased as possible. I get he had quarterback after quarterback after quarterback, but we would have known those guys on a different level, man. Truth be told, those guys are on a different level, man. Hot Fever says, I think with a number two threat like Debo, Terry gets to 1,300 yards and at least 10 touchdowns this season. I love it. I love it. Don't forget all those guys that we have in the number wide receiver too. Sure. The Dubs family. Sup, Juan? What's up, Dubs family? How you doing, bro? Love them skins, 1982. True High Fever. We only had Terry, no one else to take the defense off Terry. So it was double all the time and put them stats up. Greg. Greg says, but also you can go back and see how many touchdowns Terry could have had. He was tackled inside the 5 yard line probably 6 or 7 times. If him and Daniels got a little bit more comfortable with each other, watch out. Exactly. That is a good point. He got caught a lot of times at the 1 yard line. Jaden Daniels also overthrew him like two or three times in that Saints game. So he could have had like roughly 17. Juan will compare all number one wide receiver stats. Make sure to stay tuned, y'all. I'm going to. Yeah, bet. I got you. So that's what I'm actually do too. That's what I was gonna do. All right. So I was going to compare Terry McLaurin to every wide receiver one in the league. Probably not gonna look at everyone's stats per se, but just every team's wide receiver wants to see where you guys have Terry McLaurin ranked. So I need you all to comment and kind of be active in the chat when we get to that segment. Um, yeah. Doug Arby. Thoughts on the Wizards. So if you want honest thoughts on the Wizards, you probably got to go check out my guy Ed Oliver, my guy Abdullah, Locked On Wizards. Because I don't think I'm your right guy to ask. I already told you I don't really care for basketball anymore. I don't have an emotional attachment to the sport anymore. I used to love basketball, man. I don't know what happened. I wish the feeling could come back, but I just don't watch it. That being said, the Wizards get good. I'll bandwagon. Like I know. See, the thing about me is right. I know all the players. I know who's good. I know where everyone plays. I just don't watch the games like that. So I do know they got Trey Johnson. They got Alex Starr. I heard they had a pretty solid draft. Ace Bailey wanted to come to Washington, but he ended up going to Utah, stuff like that. But I don't have a real formal opinion on them because I never really like followed the Wizards through and through how I do the Commanders and the Nationals. That being said, Martin Gortat, and John Wall, Bradley Bill, Trevor Ariza, those days, those were some good Wizards days, man. Not gonna lie to you. The Polish Hammer. Now that we're in 2025, that's probably not so good to say without saying pause, I guess. Oh man. Hope they hurry up. Me too, man. Let's go. Let's get HTTR pros. Don't worry about it, bro. You good. The Lakers make me thirsty. Ha ha ha. Says, did you ever play football? I mean, when I was younger, I played like flag or whatever, but I played baseball, man. I played baseball, Brody. And for anybody that's gonna knock baseball, try it. I promise you, it's the best sport to play. Probably not the most entertaining sport to watch unless you know what's going on, but playing wise, yeah, I played baseball competitively in high school, etc. Not gonna act like I was old. Not gonna act like I was like freaking good or whatever, like the best, but solid. Ty says Redskins, National Wizards, Ohio State, college football, Kentucky, college basketball. For me, college sports, I don't have a fandom. Besides Merlin, like I always just bandwagon the Terps whenever they're good, but I don't have a college attachment neither. I don't really watch college sports. I'm really just a Commanders and Nationals fan. I guess DC sports fan. Like I say, I don't know, man. Basketball is just tough to watch nowadays. I don't know if I feel if I'm the only one that feels that way about basketball though. Manders, Wiz, O's, and Caps. Yeah, I think a lot of the older fan base are going to be Orioles fans because there was no Nationals growing up. Says if these dudes don't get the deal done, I'm gonna crash. Nah, they gonna get it done. Chris Webber, Jawan Howard, Rasheed Wallace, them boys stayed in trouble. But that was the bullet days. Washington Bullets. Yeah, they're not gonna get rid of Terry, bro. Fam, usually I don't care about contracts, but Terry don't deserve this. I wish they just make a decision and be done with it. Yeah, I do too, man. I do. I think they'll get it done. I truly do. We don't know. It's just speculation, man. We don't really know what truly is going on behind closed doors. We really don't. Yeah, he's under contract, so if he holds out, he'll be fine. That being said, he probably is well off to the point where he can hold off for some fines. Nine times out of ten, Terry don't even want to play for another squad. He built up too much equity here. Yeah, I mean, you would assume so. You would assume so, but you never know, man. Money could be a lot, mean a lot for some people, man. Uh, DeWitt says, who else is a legitimate deep threat? I think Jalen Lane. Would you consider? Would you consider? That's why I miss. That's why I wish we would have kept Damian Brown. But would y'all consider Debo Samuel a deep threat? JD will most likely have a slump because as y'all were saying on the pod yesterday, Terry caught just about half of the touchdown throws from JD. I mean, yeah, but that's a lot of that. I'm not gonna say you can get anybody to catch those touchdowns because I'm not gonna just like act like Terry's just anybody, but I don't know. Let's just hope we don't have to find that out. So that's my point. If they won't trade Marvin Harrison for him, he's not that dude. Nah, that's not. I don't think that's the point there though, because Marvin Harrison is a guy that is on the second year of his contract. I mean, second year, like in the NFL. So that's why I think they wouldn't trade Terry McLaurin for him. Not because he's not good, but because of first of all, Terry McLaurin wasn't a first round pick. Second of all, you invested what the fourth overall pick into this guy. You don't want to give up on him after that. But I mean, hey, and then Terry McLaurin's age as well. So right now, you probably get the better benefit of trading Terry McLaurin if you're from to Arizona. If you're Arizona, right? You're getting the production that you want now, and who's to say he gets the same amount of production out of Arizona and their offense that he got out of Cliff? But he's 30. Got to think about the upside too, man. It's not like they're both 24. Marvin Harrison's upside is truly better because of how young he is. We're gonna resign Terry. We need him along with Debo. That a hell sure. Let's see. William Cluster, I just got a question. Is Jake Paul a top cruiserweight? I don't I don't know, man. I want to see him fight somebody real, bro. I want to see him fight somebody real. First base is probably still an important position to wear a cup. I always wore a cup when I played football. I mean, theoretically, wearing a cup in baseball is important at any position. I just thought I never needed one. Uh, I never thought I needed one for me. So I never wore one. I didn't. Terry age will not allow him to be a top of the ladder pay out, and if he is asking for that kind of money, then he should be traded because he wants a long term deal. But we gotta pay Jaden. Yeah, his age will definitely be playing a factor, and if the puts a cap on how much money he can be making for sure. But I definitely will say we shouldn't trade him. I'm gonna scroll all the way down here. I got a super chat. Let me scroll all the way down. My bad. Uh, Sam Surrey, thank you so much. I appreciate you, Sam. It says great job, Juan. Terry will get signed, but if not, I'm okay with a good trade. The best team always ready to part ways with the good players. Who wants too much. Thank you so much. I appreciate it, Sam. Terry will get signed. If he doesn't get signed, I think a lot of the fan base would be upset. Um, I don't think he'll get traded. I haven't even fathomed what potential trade destinations could be for Terry McLaurin because I don't see that happening. But as you mentioned, if he does get traded, it's going to suck. But if it's like, because in the moment, it's not going to make sense to us, right? It's going to be like, no, you just trade Terry McLaurin. But what we got back for him, it better be something good. But he's not even going to get traded, so I'm not even going to think about that. You know what I mean? But thank you for the comment. Terry will get franchise tag. What's good, Redskins 301? How you? Marvin looks like he's around 6'2". Known for his speed, Lane isn't just a deep threat. Instead, he'll be spent his rookie season learning the ins and out of Debo Samuel style. That's good. Okay, I can see that. Patriots and Raiders got their eye on Terry, and it's July 1st, and there hasn't had any progression on his contract. There's been regression. I don't know if there's been any regression. We don't know what kind of progress has been made. It's all just speculation per Adam Schefter. And I'm not trying to say Adam Schefter don't know what he's talking about, but I just have a hard time truly believing that we're really at a really bad point in the contract negotiation. I truly have a hard time believing that. Not gonna lie. Not gonna cap. Juan, you saw that video you played last night for us. Debo gonna go wild this year. Yeah, man. Yeah, I did. I saw that. Mm-hmm. Let's see what else we got before we get up out of here. Uh, he won't have a slump. He has connections with the entire room. Yeah, I mean he elevates the player around him. That's what makes him who he is, right? If he relied on all the pieces around him, he wouldn't be considered top five quarterback after his rookie year. Camden Yards is better than Nationals Park. I don't know. I never been to Camden Yards. Who can speak to that? Is Camden Yards? I always have a good time when I go to Nats Park. Well, the two times I went, or three times I went, it's been good. But that's how I feel with any sporting event I've been to. I've never had a bad experience at any sporting event. Though I've never been to the Verizon Center, which is crazy. I've never been to the Verizon Center, which means I've never been to a Capitals or Wizards game. Or my fault, Capital One Arena. It's the Verizon Center, bro. I'm sorry. I'm gonna always call it that. Hey, my boy Gas, what's up, Slim? My man Gas, not Gas, what's up? He say, "What's good, Juan? What y'all doing this season?" Man, you know what it is, bro. You see the jersey. You know what we doing this year, boy. You trying to win us a ring. What y'all gonna do this year, Mo? Hey, y'all gonna stay healthy or what? It might be Daniel Jones season for y'all, Mo. But nah, we definitely gonna be looking sweet this year for sure. Gotta get Terry paid. Make sure y'all go tap into my man Gas Not Gas though. For all the reaction videos. Uh PG County used to have a support and sponsorship of Little League up into junior year and senior year of high school. Really? I ain't know that. Verizon Center was cool back in the day. Pops used to take me there to see Joy. Okay, that's lit. That's lit. I was at a party by the Nats Stadium. They had the Savannah Bananas playing. Somebody in town was lit this past Saturday. So he was at the bullpen. I think that's part where you. I'm gonna just assume that's where you was at the bullpen. He says you should do all four major sports in one year. Go to NFL, NBA, MLB, NHL game in the same year. I've done it a few times. I really think I would enjoy an NHL game. I really think I would because playoff hockey, bro. Again, that's why I say because everything is not cable no more. Everything is streaming. So I kind of lost the access of just being able to have cable in my room and being able to just watch channel 576 for NBC Sports Washington and 551 for TNT. Like I don't have that 586 to just flip on MLB Network or was it 577 for Madison Nationals and 579 for Madison Orioles. I don't have that capability, so I kind of fell out of touch with a lot of the other sports in terms of watching every day. Um, but when I had cable and I was able to watch the Capitals playoff run, like I'm talking about from when they won the Stanley, boy, I was low key falling in love with hockey, bro. I ain't gonna lie, I low key was falling in love with hockey. But yeah, I'm gonna definitely try to do that this upcoming year for sure. Let's see. Predictions when Wash will win the Super Bowl. Man, I don't know. The window is open. The window is truly open, man. So I think it could be any year from this year until Jay Daniels probably retires. If I'm being honest with you, but I don't know. I don't know yet. Uh, have you bought any tickets for this season yet? No, I haven't. I really want season tickets because I plan on doing streams from there, from the stadium, like tailgating streams, pulling up on all y'all, just having good vibes, good energy, streaming at the stadium pregame. Because I can't get into the games, I don't have no tickets, man. But if I had like some seats, that's why I wish I could have been able to get season tickets because I would be live streaming from every game, and I'm talking about like trying to get y'all into it, involved, interviews, press. Like think of the Washington Commanders pregame show, but from a fan's perspective on the outside of the stadium pregame. So I'm walking around the different tailgates, trying to interact with y'all, get y'all on the live interview, stuff like that, and then during the game. Be live, probably during the game, or maybe you know what I'm saying, something like that, kind of like I Show Speed does IRL. And then of course we're gonna do the post game show. We're gonna do the post game show for sure. We do like we did last year for every game. But yeah, nah, I wish I ain't had no tickets. But if y'all got tickets for your boy, don't hesitate. Don't hesitate to hit me up. I'll definitely love to be in the house for sure. I got tickets for the Chicago game so far. Gotta get Dallas and Philly. Okay, I want to go to that Denver game. I know that Denver game gonna be like that. And is that Kansas City game here or nah? I think last time we played Kansas City was here, so I think it's probably in KC. Yeah, we play. Yeah, we played Detroit this regular season. We do. We do. 2OK Nate the Great. You think Luke McCaffrey gonna turn up this year? I hope so. I hope so. But a lot of people, I think, give me slack for this, but I don't have true expectations for Luke McCaffrey because I know he's still new to the position. So I'm not expecting much out of him like how I am other guys. So I'm kind of more like lenient on him, if that makes sense. Like I don't really like, okay, I don't expect much from him. But that being said, I hope he does make some type of a leap in year two. I think he should be the starting kick returner. Because he was really good at kick returns last year. But all in all, yeah, I expect a solid year from him. But my expectations is not as high as other people. Just I want to give him the proper time to develop. Taya says, I remember last year when I met you and Janky Rondo at the game last year versus New York. Yeah, I remember that. That was lit. That was definitely lit. I'm trying to think, Tyus. I thought I met you somewhere else too, though. That was at the Giants game as well. I thought I met you at like the Commanders, like when we had Sam Howell that year, the Commanders, what is it? At Franklin Park, they had the little Commanders kickoff little party, and I thought I met you too at the draft, at the little event they had when we first got Josh Hurst, but I guess it was just the Giants game. But I feel like I ran into you before multiple times. Imagine Commanders pregame show had Snyder sold 10 years ago. Say stay as young as you can for as long as you can, and say no to illegal substances. Oh yeah, for sure. Truth be told, I don't partake in none of those activities. I don't partake in no drugs, alcohol, or nothing. That's never been my thing for sure. For sure, for sure. Yeah, I'm going to the Denver game. Man, that's gonna be lit. Hmm. Says, bro, I hope we bring back the jerseys with the spear. I've been trying to find one forever. Hopefully we bring back some new fire. I don't know if it's necessarily gonna be the spear, but um we definitely should be getting some new jerseys. Spear will be tough. JK says, what you think the chance of Ayuk trade if Terry goes unsigned? I don't think Ayuk is getting traded at all. First of all, he's coming off a torn ACL. Second of all, they just paid him the money. Um, and I don't know if Ayuk is that good. Like, I don't know. I don't know. I'm not really that high on Ayuk, how I used to be. If he comes back and turns up this year, that probably changes. But do you think we should trade trade Terry for Tyreek Hill? Both are our same age. Tyreek's salary is 30 mil a year, and Terry wants more than 30 mil a year. I don't know. That's a good question. Does Tyreek Hill want to be traded? I mean, I'm sure Tyreek sees, Jalen Ramsey gone. Who else is left? Who else left from Miami this year? Point that I'm trying to make, I can't remember. The point that I'm trying to make is, that's actually a good question. That's actually a good question. Because they both have this, they're both the same age, roughly. Tyreek's probably a little older. They're both gonna at least make 30 mil a year. That's a good question. Yeah, he says Tyreek's a diva. How committed would he be? Because I heard that he wants to retire. So I don't know if I would do that for the simple fact that Terry McLaurin, I know he's gonna produce culturally wise. He's that guy, and he hasn't really talked about retirement. So yeah, I think you met Sean White. Yeah, no, I definitely remember me and Sean White there, but I thought I met you too there as well. Oh, but no, I think we weren't we okay. If it's all coming back to me. I think we were texting on IG and you asked me where I was sitting. I think you came to me. I think, or did you meet me in the passing way? I'm trying to remember. I know I remember meeting you. I'm just trying to remember that whole interaction. But yeah. But yeah. Let's see. But yeah, though, y'all, I'm gonna go ahead and get up out of here, man. I'll go ahead and get up out of here, continue on the rest of my day. I just wanted to hop on live. Hopefully y'all continue to stop by the lives, man, because we're gonna be going live a lot more often. I want to do something like where I go live every Tuesday, like at 8, 7, or like 7 and like 9 p.m. that range of starting. It's called Kicking It with Gotti. And I put out the link and y'all jump on and we talk about the team, like all of us, kind of like how Lake Lewis does. I just got hip to what he does. I saw it. I was like, that's cool. Maybe I could do something like that. But I don't have my computer now. I have to save up some money for a brand new PC, which is gonna cost like $2,000. But I have no computer. It broke, so now I'm off the iPeasy. So that's probably gonna have to be a idea that goes into the vault for now. But I'm gonna get up out of here though, y'all. I appreciate y'all for stopping by, spending a little bit of time with me this afternoon. Y'all have a blessed day. Stay safe. Be easy out there. And yeah, man, hit that subscribe button. Check out 4th and 1. There we go. Check out 4th and 1. And y'all be easy, man. Stay safe out there.
The way that we live is not for everybody.
See, I never can get it right. Wrong outro. All right. Peace. Wait. Hold on. There we go. All right. I'm going to get up out of here. Wait. All right. I'm going to get up out of here.
Never gave up, ballin' like I'm Deshaun, throw the bomb, G. That's all, G.